Looks like LA's radical district attorney, George Gascon, has really outdone himself when it comes to promoting dangerous left-wing ideology over the safety of his city. This time by tapping a cop-hating former public defender as his new chief of staff. Say hello to Tiffany Blacknell. She once called the LAPD barbarians and an occupying army. She said that prison was obsolete and needed to be abolished. Blacknell also loves to wear T-shirts that say the police are trained to kill us. And here's the kicker. She once boasted about being a looter herself during the Rodney King riots in LA, saying, quote, "I was a looter in 1992 when the opportunity arose. We took some bleep. So don't come on my page complaining about protesters or looters." So, Greg, isn't this just another step in DAs like George Gascon tearing down the current system to replace it with their own?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like as communities unite in collective outrage over crime, they simply hire more radicals that enhance division. And I think there is an underlying fear that if blacks and whites and browns wise up and band together to throw out these radicals, they need to stress division even more. And that only makes the cities worse. It's a vicious cycle. So they make it about race. They make it about identity to keep the citizens divided and therefore powerless. But this, again, is a what-where problem. I don't care about her beliefs. At all. She looted in 91. She hates cops. She prefers criminals over victims. Get it? She can host MSNBC for all I care. It's the where. She's being installed in a department that should be focused on public safety and protecting citizens, not criminals. And again, you cannot, and we talk about this, you can't fix a problem if all the so-called fixers are from the same ideological bucket. But I think what's happening is what we see as a problem, they see as the intended result. The result is to flip society so that cultural reparations trump law and order. So we keep complaining, but this is exactly what they want.
So, Jessica, the mayor of LA has said that she wants to hire more police officers because of this crime problem. But why would you want to become a police officer when you have these kinds of people in charge who say that you're an oppressor, that you want to kill people rather than keeping the community safe?
I don't know, which is why we're seeing shortages in almost every major city. And you hear the press conferences from the chiefs of police who most of the time are Democrats as well, talking about how there's a tremendous disconnect going on and that they can't, rally the troops to go out there and to do this job. And people are taking early retirement, and it's a huge problem. But there also is, it kind of connects back to what we were talking about in the last block, a big disconnect with how people are feeling and the actual stats on the ground. So the FBI today released their data for the third quarter of 2023. So they compare it to this time last year. And no one would deny, of course, that there was a surge during the COVID period. But violent crime is down 8%. Property crime is down 6.3%. It's at its lowest level since 1961. And I've been talking about the drop in the murder rates, not in Washington, D.C. That is an outlier. But in all these other major cities, like New York, where we are, in Chicago, in Los Angeles. And it's not getting any traction, that story. And I understand that crime is a what you feel problem. And it's definitely a what you read problem. Gallup has 77% of Americans, and this is across Democrats, Republicans, and independents, think that crime is going up. But you look at that FBI data, and you think, how is this disconnect, the chasm, this large?
Well, Dana, isn't that a lot like saying, well, inflation is going down?
It's the same issue.
Right.
Right. So, you could look at statistics and say, well, the stock market's up. Like, and there's more job openings than ever. Like, why do these people feel so bad? Well, you'll take one particular thing. What do people have to buy every single day for survival? Food. And food is up, and they will not forget that. And also, especially, there are consequences for some of the crime that hurts everything else. For example, Washington, D.C. losing the two major sports teams to go to Virginia. What did that mean? That means that in that area, was just redeveloped with a lot of money and was a great place to go. Now what happens? So they leave. That means nobody else is going to come. No one's going to rent the hotel rooms. No one's going to go to the restaurants, the small businesses, everything. So you start to see that quality of life go down. And that is a big issue. With this one, and with Gascon, one of the things that this woman had done before in her career, it was reported that in 2020, she went behind the backs of the prosecutor and the victim's family and worked with the defendant in order to get him a sweetheart deal, a plea deal. So that worked. So as a public defender, it wasn't to defend the public. It was to defend the defendant and make things easier for them. So Gascon, I think, is a victim of this idea that if I surround myself with people who agree with me, then I'm going to get better. That's not necessarily true. And actually, in our next block, you're going to listen to a great leader who has a very different management and leadership philosophy, and that's why he's been successful.
Yeah, Jesse, picking up on Jana's point about the criminals that they don't want to be in prison, child sex offenders, cop killers, people who kill and attack nurses while they're waiting for the bus to go help other people in the hospital. These are the kinds of people that they are defending and keeping out of prison so they can reoffend and hurt more innocent people.
They need sixth and seventh chances, Katie. Don't you understand? They are victims of a white supremacist criminal justice system, and they will not heal until we empty all of the prisons and defund all of the police. There's only 3 options why he hired this woman. 1, he's in love with her. 2, he didn't vet her. 3, he vetted her and thought, I'm going to hire a cop-hating looter. Now, when we do hiring around here, I look deep. I go into the Instagram, I go into the Facebook, I go into the MySpace if I have to.
Wow.
And I look at what's written on T-shirts.
Dedicated.
I look at what kind of alcohol is sitting next to them. I look everywhere. And if I see one thing that makes me suspicious, red flag.
You don't even go to their house. Remember that time you broke into that house?
Do you remember?
Yes.
And then we moved stuff around to make it look like we weren't in there?
Yeah.
And, you know, you're cherry picking again, Jessica.
No.
If you look at the NYPD statistics for here in Manhattan from 2019 to 2023, every single element of crime is up. Every single one.
No.
If you compare it to 19, it was just in the New York Post. What, are you going to call your other colleague a liar again? Now, you also have to trust your gut. When I go out now, I take my wedding band off. I put it in my pocket because I don't want to get jacked. And I'm very athletic.
Think that they're going to...
That's what you tell your wife when you forget to put it back on.
Stop it. Now, of all the things I said on the show, that's going to get me in trouble.
But you leave your watch on?
Oh, shut up, Dana.
Wow. Can I just say, the job of a public defender is to defend their client. They shouldn't have that job if it's...
Change the topic, then, or change the title.
Yeah. Crime is not down. That's like saying inflation is down when it's
go talk to the
it's
FBI.
not as expensive as it was.
No, they won't talk to me.
I wonder why.
You don't want to talk to them, Jesse. Call your lawyer, for sure. All right, up next, 1 trillion humans could live in outer space. Billionaire Jeff Bezos making some out-of-the-world predictions.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.